to our special series where we talk everything cryptocurrencies, the latest developments, news, views, and we also get the top faces to talk about on the business. Joining us today on the show is Sumit Gupta. He is CEO and co-founder at CoinDCX in India. Sumit, hi, good to have you. And the top news clearly continues to be FTX, the collapse of it, and the kind of contagion that we have seen across other many affiliates and the investors in India as well. How have you seen it all, and what's your summarization?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for having me here, Manisha. And as you rightly mentioned, 2022 has been quite a difficult year for the overall industry. And as we know, the markets are cyclical in nature. There are periods when the market goes up and there are difficult times as well. So this is one such difficult year. A lot of things happened all the way from Luna incident to FTX, and also the TDS impact, which has reduced the volumes to probably 1/10 of where it was. So overall, the market has been difficult, but we as a company are staying pretty strong. We believe this is an excellent time to build products, improve on that, focus on the customer service, and make sure that we are able to do right things for the customers and be very transparent and earn their trust, right? So overall, I think from an exchange point, from CoinDCX side, it's quite healthy. We are not impacted by FTX or any of the incidents in any manner. No, we do not have FTX as an investor. So CoinDCX is pretty strong that way. From an investor sentiment point of view, definitely it has shaken up, the confidence of investors in India market and globally also, because events like that are, takes the industry backward by, a few months so I think this moment, right, what happened is a opportunity for all the industry players to learn from those things and make sure that they are extremely transparent in their processes, how they are operating. But the takeaway for me was that with incidents like this, I think this presents a very strong case for the policymakers and regulators across the world to also look at regulation seriously and make sure that events like this do not happen again, and only serious players are allowed to operate and serve customers.
Well, 2022 clearly is going down as the year of crypto winter. We've seen the volumes decline, not just in India, but the international markets as well. What are the trends showing right now? What is the kind of participation and the volumes that you look back at when you look at 2022?
Sure. I think in the last year, the trading volumes have definitely gone down. But I would say that what has happened is after the implementation of TDS, the trading volumes that has been happening on Indian exchanges have shifted offshore to other exchanges which do not have, let's say, the TDS implementation there, because 1% TDS is a lot to traders and investors. So this has happened, and because of that, even though the global markets have fallen, the volumes have fallen down by roughly 35 to 40%. In Indian exchanges, it has fallen by roughly 90%, and that simply denotes that Indian traders or Indian exchange users have shifted to some of the offshore platforms like Binance or FTX, which I feel is a risk, because Indian exchanges trading, Indian users trading on international exchanges is not good for the customer protection point of view, because you would want highly regulated or self-regulated and compliant exchanges to serve those customers for customer protection. Plus, this is also outside the sight of the government, right? If someone is using some international exchange outside the country, government will not get the data, will not have a clue of who is trading what, are they paying taxes or not, and that is where I feel the significance of local serious players to operate and serve Indian customers. But from a business point of view, as you rightly mentioned, the volumes have gone down. In fact, most of the volumes have shifted offshore or outside Indian exchanges, which was not, which I'm assuming is not what the regulators or the policymakers intended to do, but that is the impact. In the years to come, I think what happened with FTX, I think in 2023, you would see government and regulators looking at the space a lot more seriously. And my belief is that we will see a lot more progress in terms of regulations and some guidelines which businesses will have to abide by, which I think is good for the overall ecosystem. Plus, I also see a global consensus in terms of regulations, because no regulators would want events like this. So I expect a lot of activity to happen from a regulatory perspective. Another thing is there will be people or the customers will be asking a lot more questions to different projects who are building something in the space. So which also I believe is a good thing, because the more aware customers are, I think it's good for the customers, for the ecosystem as a whole, because only the serious players will get users, and I think overall transparency will increase in the overall system, which is good. But as an industry, as a technology, I think everything is pretty strong, and I think it has. If you look at some of the fundamentals like hash rate, how many people uniquely hold it, so those kind of things will happen. Another trend I see is that a lot of people will want to have custody of their funds. They would not want to have a centralized entity controlling access of their funds. So that is where self-custodial wallets will pick up. And at CoinDCX, we have been working on building the solution from last several months. And in a matter of a month or so, we'll be out with that product where any investor will have full custody of their funds. So you do not have to rely on any third-party platform to keep a custody of your crypto assets. So that, I believe, is going to be picked up really well by the customers. What is important is the onboarding journey, the simplicity of it, which we have solved to a larger extent. And I think next year is going to be a lot about regulations, innovative products, and also self-custody, I believe.
Sumit, also another impact of FTX clearly has been that very many other centralized exchanges are now coming out with proof of reserves, which they would be publishing. You in India, as CoinDCX, also are going to do that. The question really is that how long would it be updated? How frequently would that be updated? Also, would it cover proof of liabilities and proof of funds as well?
Absolutely. And this is a very important point, because, and this is one learning that almost all the businesses and the customers have got now, that making sure that the customer, assets are stored one-on-one on platforms is very important. And for the same reason, we believe that building trust and ensuring transparency is one of our core philosophy. And we have very openly published our proof of reserves that's available for anyone to see and audit in real time, on a dashboard. We have announced it yesterday. We have been getting pretty good response, I believe, and I hope that a lot of other companies also follow the same suit. I think it's important. It's not. I think it's something that all the players, serious players, should do that. Should be as transparent as they can. I have a little different stance when it comes to proof of reserves and making sure that the assets are stored one-on-one. And I've shared about it openly as well, that just the proof of reserves is not sufficient. There is proof of liabilities as well, which needs to be ensured, and there are ways out there which we are already implementing, and we've already started work on that. And the objective is that both reserves and liabilities in conjunction will give you the right picture. We believe that's the right way forward. So independent of what people are talking about, just the reserves part, I don't think that gives a complete picture. So we have taken it upon ourselves to make sure that both the reserves as well as liabilities part are available for people to see and verify in real time. So it's not on a quarterly basis, unlike traditional companies where you get to see this information on a quarterly basis. Here, the objective is to make it available for anyone to see in real time. And that's the beauty about blockchain. So that's what we are intending to do, not limit to just proof of reserves, but extending it to proof of liabilities as well as audits from third parties to certify the strength of our finances and how strong and resilient we are as a business, and how serious we are in terms of transparency. So I think these are some of the critical things that players should do to win the trust of customers, and we have already started that, and we will continue to do more of that in the coming months.
All right, that point is well taken. Sumit, thank you so much for joining us. And that's all the time we have on this segment today. But we will be back soon with more news, more updates, and other guests.